going to assume that you're ready to go, Orb, so I'm going to be launching this game number 4 in 3, 2, 1, go. So as you mentioned, we're here on Ohana. We've got TSL.Alive, the Terran player, in the top left, spawning as the red Terran. His opponent cross positions on this 2-player map. The blue Protoss is going to be MVPGuineaPig, and what I'm looking at in Guineapig's base, yes, he's got this very easy to defend natural, as you mentioned. It's got this second ramp down to the destructible rocks. Where does Guineapig go for third? Is he intended to take this 630? I think that's the case, but it doesn't really afford a lot of opportunities to defend here. Yes, it's on the high ground, but there's so many entrances, and it's closer to the middle of the map than it is to the natural of Guineapig. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's easier to attack this position than it is to defend it. And if you have your units trying to isolate you're the attacker trying to isolate him on the ramp, it's very easy for him to move back into the middle of the map and back into the middle of the map and then move into your natural and isolate you at your own ramp. So a little bit difficult situation here for Guineapig, I think.
Yeah, you know, one way you can play this map is if you take that like 4 o'clock base that's over his main instead. Right. But if you do that, you generally are forced to go like that blink first style that we've seen from like OGS players, you know, MC and Huck. Because you're going to need to be able to blink between that third and your main, of course, to be able to defend against multi-pronged aggression and drops. But that's a really risky style to utilize. I mean, when you go for blink first, it's so difficult. You have to be really on top of your micro, really on top of your overall game sense and map control. You have to be able to know, you know, when's a good time to go try to be aggressive. Where can I go try to, you know, put on pressure and kill off maybe some supply depots near the edge of my opponent's base. You know, when do I need to stay at home to defend? They're all really difficult decisions to make, and your micro has to be really flawless. So I don't really expect to see that from Guineapig. I'm assuming they'll try to go take that 630 base, but that is another way you can play this map. But it looks like from Alive, he's not going to go for any type of gasless expand, which actually is just a little bit surprising me. I would have thought this natural is just so easy to defend that he would most likely want to just go for that earliest possible expansion. But do you think this is just going to be another 2 racks from him, or do you think he might try that old 1-1-1 again?
Well, I don't... You know, it's difficult to tell because these games have been pretty wild, but I know if it was me, I probably wouldn't be doing 1-1-1 here on this map. You know, 2-player map, I think it's easier to scout than as opposed to any sort of map. The rush distance is not that long, but it's not the closest map. And you know, as you mentioned when you were speaking about Alive not taking his natural, the natural just looks so comfortable to expand. You've got this ramp up into the natural, kind of like on Shakir's Plateau. That makes me want to do a build to, okay, let's stop talking about this because we've got a proxy factory.
I know, right? Look at that position, too. It is so nuts. Alive is such a baller here. He actually had that SCV in position. His other SCV was like being followed by a probe. I think he wanted to put the proxy elsewhere, but since the probe was following his other SCV, he decided against it. Look at that. Zealot actually checking the edge of his base, making sure there's no types of proxies above. Is he going to check the natural? Oh my gosh, Guineapig. Great play with the scouting. Will he be able to kill off this SCV? If he can kill the SCV before the... Oh, he has a stock route. He'll definitely be able to kill it. This is hugely detrimental to Alive. If he can't finish the factory, he won't be able to start that starport. And, oh my god, this timing is going to be close. Wow. 59 out of 60, and the factory does not complete.
So yeah, he's going to have to give that up. He's going to leave it alive, and the reason he's doing that is so that he can, you know, set something else up, keep these units out, and look how aggressive he's getting, rallying in Marines, and he's actually got a Marauder with concussive shells on the way. Concussive shells just about to finish up. I'm surprised that he would attack so aggressively, and I thought he would have just canceled it. Sneaks in an SCV and completes it. What a ninja.
What a crazy guy, man. This is insane. You know, maybe he was trying to do that strategy that we saw from players like the STC, you know, sending a factory into the main mineral line and just constantly producing Hellions while putting on pressure at the front. It looks like that might be what he's doing. He does have Marines and a Marauder over near this Nexus putting on pressure, so now Guineapig has to decide where is he going to put his forces. It looks like he's just going to decide to go for the factory for now, but now that it's in the red and will definitely burn down, it will be able to go just engage into the forces at his natural. Got to be careful though, that Zealot went in first, might be able to just get a free kill. Oh no, that is awful, but looks like it will be able to escape for now. Up that ramp. Marauder's got to be careful. Because TSL.Alive does not want to lose a single unit here inefficiently. He's got to make sure those Marauders stay alive. And if he can deny this Nexus from Guineapig, that will give him a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to, but we'll have to see. He's continuing to rally in units. He is expanding behind this, so he's got plans for the future. Factory going to go down. Starport did get started, so not that big of a deal. Guineapig going to be able to Maynard in all those probes and threaten to surround the units of Alive, so he's going to be forced back. But, you know, all things considered, I think Alive got out of that situation as good as he could have expected. He doesn't seem that far behind. He's got a very, very quick starport, and he's got his 3 barracks coming, getting his upgrades, and he's got an expansion.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, man. His expansion timing was pretty decent, and to go into something with a proxy factory and have your SCV get killed off like that, and then still transition and not seem like you're that far behind, it's really, really impressive. Now, of course, he is behind by about 10 food right now, but that should be able to even up as those 2 additional barracks room complete, as well as the reactor on his starport, so he can start double producing those medevacs. But I'm a little bit worried for him because he's actually dropping a reactor onto his starport, hasn't dropped any gas at his natural, and he's only at 100 gas right now. He certainly doesn't have enough to be able to double produce medevacs right now, especially while trying to continue upgrades like stim, combat shields. So this build from Alive just seems maybe a little bit inefficient, although right now he will get up to 200 gas. Maybe he's just going to go for one of those double medevac timings. Really, really early on, won't have quite as much tech continuation, but this will allow him to actually put on quite a bit of pressure with double drops.
I would like to see him actually load up his entire army and just drop into the main, because, you know, when he gets that stim out and he's got the Marauders with the concussive shells in there, that's just a point where you're able to do so much damage, get in there, harass, and get out. And I don't think that Guinea Pig is going to expect this, because when someone tries to proxy you, you don't expect that they're going to run in, complete it, and then continue the tech. You probably think they're going to be scared and just try to build up a bulky army. Probe is actually going to get in and scout the army size, but let's see if this pylon... No, pylon not going to be able to see the medevacs, so the medevacs are going to get in for free, and there's nothing in the line of sight. Except this observer, which is not going to be able to catch the medevacs. So the medevacs are going to get into the main base of Guinea Pig. We'll have to see how quickly he reacts. Oh no, he's pushing out.
No, this is the worst possible time for Guinea Pig. He doesn't realize this, but moving out right now could not be worse of a timing. These medevacs can go straight to the main base.
I'm noticing an Artosis pylon in the making.
Oh,
in the main
dear
base.
God. You'd think he would learn from those previous games, man. And there's the drop right on the pylon. He target fires the pylon immediately. Oh my God, even the robotics facility is not powered by that right pylon. And now Guinea Pig has lost all his production. All Alive has to do right now is just load up, leave,
absolutely,
and just keep making units. He'll have such a production advantage that he should have a much bigger army. But it looks like for now, he's actually just continuing to engage. I feel like that may have been a slight mistake here, losing all of these units. But he still did quite a bit of damage in the meantime. And now look at that stim, trying to pick off a couple probes here with these Marines. Does get just a couple kills. Looks like a total of 8 worker kills throughout. So now we're at 45 probes to still 39 SCVs.
Yeah, I feel like, exactly as you said, once he killed that pylon, he should have loaded up and got out of there. But I think he felt like he was in this kind of protected cage, that he was in a good position. But Guinea Pig actually had so many ranged units that he was able to bring those units down very quickly. Force Field was able to shove those units left and right. But Alive definitely got the better of that drop. Now reuniting more units with those medevacs. He may go in for phase 2. But Guinea Pig is wary of that, bringing his entire army to try to scout for any medevacs in the path as he continues to press forward. And I think Guinea Pig has the advantage here, moving forward, slicing down a few units. Alive going to load up and drop back into his main base, building actually 1 and 2 more bunkers so that he doesn't get broken here.
Oh ho ho, a Dark Shrine on the way from Guinea Pig. Trying to secure his victory with some cloaked units here. We don't actually have turrets set up. He sees that with his observer, so this is a reactive play. He's not just blindly going DTs here. Unfortunately, though, this does mean he's not upgrading from that double forge of his. So he got a double forge and is not getting any upgrades. He's just pushing in for this attack right now. So that's like 300 minerals down the drain, essentially, you know, not being used for this army. So he's going to be forced back, especially with the 3 bunkers not complete from Alive. Right. There's no way he can actually push up here. 4 medevacs as well, just way too much healing. But it looks like we're going to just see Alive go for a drop with one of his medevacs. If Guinea Pig can spot this, that'd be fantastic. I don't think he's going to be able to. There doesn't have any observers or pylons or units over there on the left side of the map. And there's 1-1 started for Guinea Pig. You will be able to chrono that out. And against just the 1-0 on the way from Alive, that will give him a nice little upgrade advantage coming into the mid-game.
Guinea Pig continuing to make immortals. Would have loved to see a Warp Prism used in combination with the Dark Shrine. Get those DTs right in the main base. Really start wrecking some havoc, but we see not going to be the case there. Just wants the immortal so that he's got that beefier, bulkier, heavy-hitting unit in his main base as opposed to the sneakier and more risky DT Warp Prism combination. We've got Alive dropping some units on the low ground here. 8 Marines, and looks like he's going to send the majority of the units to be dropping the main base at the same time, trying to set up the timing for a 2-pronged attack. Meanwhile, DT's running into the natural, no scan at the natural, No scan in the main.
Oh, no energy available. He doesn't have any turrets set up. He has an eBay, but still has not tried to make any. There's one trying to go up at the natural. He's losing a lot of SCVs in the process. He's going to go for the triple drop in the main to try to pull all the units of Guinea Pig out of position so he can, of course, send those Marines into the natural. But will it be enough to counter the amount of damage that Guinea Pig is doing? Unfortunately, he's not paying attention, though, that a turret will be completed here at the natural since he's not targeting with his DTs. But the DT defense in the main has forced Alive back, and he wasn't able to pull the arm. No, actually pulls the army just a little bit out of position. Marines stemming into the natural right now. Can they get these probes? Looks like they will be able to get at least a couple in here. About 5 or 6 probes go down. He's going to be forced to fall back.
Extremely fast reaction time by Guinea Pig, and now with the first drop in, the second phase of this drop, it's going to go into the main base, but there's so many DTs and Zealots there, and actually more Zealots being warped in to reinforce that, and Alive takes one look at that from his floating medevacs and says, nah, and just turns away, forced to give it up. The rest of his drop at the natural was shut down. Oh, I can't believe he's pressing the issue, going back into the main base. So many Zealots and DTs running right up to those units and forcing them back. And let's take a look at the income tab to see what the worker disparity is at. We've got 56 workers for Guinea Pig and 32 for Alive, mining at about half the efficiency Alive is than Guinea Pig. Trying to get that Ghost Academy up. He's got a lot of production facilities, but he took a lot of damage there, continuing to drop behind the natural, trying to snipe down some more units. Medevac going to get targeted down, and that's going to get cleaned up. He's still got his units on the low ground, just being super annoying at the main base.
The biggest advantage Alive has right now is he has the 3rd command center done, but unfortunately it's been scouted by Guinea Pig, and he moved a DT over to block that from landing, so the command center aren't able to do anything. And of course, immediately as a response, Guinea Pig drops a Nexus of his own. Looks like a scan will be able to take out that DT though, so Alive should be able to go take that expansion. That earlier time, he should help him out just a little bit, but will it be enough? He's just thrown away a lot of units with these drops and really hasn't done the damage he's wanted to do. These DTs from Guinea Pig have just paid themselves over in dividends, man. It's just been fantastic, although, you know, Alive with those Marines has actually done quite a bit of damage himself. We're actually at 28 workers killed for Alive compared to the 26 that Guinea Pig has killed. But you know what? We still have that huge probe advantage. 56 to 39. Here comes the triple drop or the double drop again here, but the DTs are in place, and that's going to prevent, of course, Alive from doing much damage at all here. He does pick off those Templar, but not before they feed back one of those medevacs.
And it looks like 2-2 for our Protoss player. Guinea Pig is going to be finishing up in just moments. We've got 1-1 here for Alive. Looks like he's not going to continue down the road of getting more upgrades. He requires that armory, but he's doing a better job in this game than when we saw in Game 3 where he got significantly outpaced by Guinea Pig's upgrades. Now we see level 2 completing for Guinea Pig as he chronos both of those out. Let's see if he continues with level 3. Yes, level 3 armor started almost immediately as he's now beginning to add in the Archons into his unit composition. He's Alive, that is, has begun to control his 3rd base. He's dropped that command center and controlled that space. Going to put up a turret so that DT harassment is negated. But, you know, the supply differential is not as high as I would have thought it was. With the pace the game's gone, I would have thought Guinea Pig would be ahead by, you know, maybe 40 to 50 supply. But we're looking at 145 to 125 here at the 17-minute mark.
Yeah, I think a lot of it probably comes from the fact that he's invested a lot in those upgrades, you know, spent a lot of gas in the Sentries and Archons. But I gotta say, man, Alive making this planetary here is a really, really odd choice because when you're behind and you know you're behind economically, it's like you got to take a risk to get back in. You got to drop that orbital so you can have those triple mules. If you drop a planetary and you're already behind, you're just going to be even further behind economically against a Protoss who's on 3 base, you know, with double gas mining. Right. And oh my god, he might get caught outside in the middle of the map right now. His entire army a little bit out of position here, as you said, with only 1-1. 3-3 halfway done from Guinea Pig, so you might want to wait for those upgrades to complete before actually engaging here, especially with these 2 ghosts now out from Alive. Right. We see yet again a big Sentry and Immortal clump. If you can get some really good EMPs off, that could get Alive back into this game.
You know, the other thing that's strange about the planetary to me is there's not going to be little harassment going on at this planetary. He's either going to attack it with the entire army, in which case you're probably dead anyway, or nothing. Or he's not going to attack it, he'll just go into the natural and kill you. So a very odd choice considering the layout of the map. Alive's army is looking pretty scary here. He's done well to get back into this game. He's got 4 pages worth of units clumped up here and 4 ghosts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 EMPs between them. So Guinea Pig is going to have to do those nice spreads that we saw in game number 3 if he wants to be able to beat this army.
This is great timing from an attack right before 3-3 would complete, as well as Storm halfway done, but actually no, +3 armor has just completed. It looks like Alive just, you know, kind of being a little bit too tentative here. I'm not sure if he wants to engage. He might go for it right now, but there is +3 completing, and now Guinea Pig's going to be at 3-3 against 1-1 infantry. This is going to be an awful situation for Alive. He's moving in with his ghost as well. EMPs go down on the Zealots. going down on some of the sentries as well as an Archon, but most of the army still has full shields. These Templar might even be able to throw down some storms as soon as that upgrade finishes. No, they're actually in the front and they get killed off. Alive still has a really big army, but I don't think it's going to be big enough.
You know, I think Alive was in perfect positioning. A storm does eventually go down, but it's just the army of Guinea Pig was so beefy, and there's the GG. I think that's the best engagement Alive could have hoped for, but 3-3 speaks for itself when we saw the result there. And Orb, we are bringing it back to a Game 5 here.
Oh, I am so excited by that, man. Could not have hoped for a better setup. It's so sick when it goes to 2-0 and then gets brought back to 2-2. It's like the other player's like, nope, I am down 0-2. I'm going to dig in my heels. I'm going to claw my way to victory. So I'm really rooting for Guinea Pig right now, man, just because rooting for the underdog. But Alive, you know, he played really, really well in games 1 and 2. I feel like his best strengths here are, you know, his standard play, his safe play as we've seen in the past, and his mind games that he was pulling off. And I feel like he kind of let up on those just a little bit in these recent games. We've seen just a little bit more aggression from him, that weird proxy factory play in this game. I would love to see in a Game 5, both players just go straight back to their completely standard macro game and duke it out and see who's going to take the victory.
Yeah, I really feel like Alive needs to just slow it down. He's gotten in this mode where he's getting so aggressive, like overly aggressive. He's out on the map with armies that can't kill Guinea Pig and still just trying. He believes that he can do something with it. I mean, obviously we want to see it go to a nice long Game 5, but for Alive's sake, if he wants to take this after he was up 2-0, I think he needs to slow it down. And the nice byproduct of this going to a Game 5 is that we get to see more matchups on more of the maps, and that's exciting to me.
Yeah, and that's exactly like what the point of the tournament was. So really lucky for us that ended up happening. And man, I don't know if we can even hype this anymore. This is pretty insane. So let's just jump right into Game 3. Are y'all set to go?